Oh, there we go. We're good. We're live. That's what I did. Just turn it off, turn it back on. It worked. Okay, we're live. All right. All right, Joe, we got Matt's movie reviews in the house. Give me that countdown.
In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Get over here! Hi, I'm martial art master Daniel Pacina. You know me as the original Johnny Cage, Scorpion, Sub-Zero, Reptile, and Smoke. You are tuning in to NerdCage Live on YouTube, Twitter, Twitch. Don't miss an episode or you'll get caged. So let's finish him.
This is Anthony Marquez, better known as Kung Lao for Mortal Kombat. Make sure to like and subscribe to NerdCage Live. Be there. Us.
Hey everybody, this is Dave Niebuhr from Dog Eat Dog, and you're watching NerdCage Live. So like, share, and subscribe to this channel. These are great guys doing what they love to do.
Hi, I'm Leah Montalongo, the OG Sindel. Please like, subscribe to NerdCage Live.
This is Ernie C. from Body Count. You're tuned in to NerdCage. Can you like and subscribe?
NerdCage Live and gaming are a perfect match.
Shoot the J, Joe. Okay. Shoot it!
All right.
Over on NerdCage Live on Twitch, Jay and Joe go live.
Call me Bazooka Joe.
It's all about you.
Kaboom!
Playing both old school and new school games every Tuesday night. Ooh, what a sight!
Jay, stop looking at her face and run.
But she's so beautiful.
So be sure to follow NerdCage Live on Twitch.
Run for your life, Joe. Run for your life, Joe.
Running.
Run faster. Oh no, Joe. The galaxy's doomed because of you.
To scratch your gaming itch.
Oh, nice kick, Joe.
Thank you.
Yo, that's diabolical. Wait. Yo!
That's twitch.tv/NerdCageLive.
Hey guys, it's the original Shao Kahn, Brian Glenn, and I'd like you to subscribe to NerdCage Live.
Hey, what's up, everyone? This is Doc Coyle, the man from Bad Wolves and God Forbid. I wanted to let you know right now, please subscribe to NerdCage Live.
Greetings, imagination connoisseurs. This is Robert Meyer Burnett, and I'm telling you to go get in the cage, the NerdCage Live, and you watch, you like, you subscribe.
And you come back and you hear some cogent discourse about all things nerdy.
NerdCage Live, do it.
Hi, Heather the Eatheart here. Make sure you like, subscribe, follow NerdCage Live.
NerdCage Live is excited to welcome the legendary Cynthia Rothrock for a live interview Thursday, June 19th, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Be there.
It has begun.
If what you say is true, the Shaolin
And the NerdCage
could be dangerous.
Greetings, citizens. You're now trapped in the NerdCage. We hope you have a smashing good time.
You're now about to witness the strength of geek knowledge. Hello, welcome. That's right. Once again, you are trapped in NerdCage Live. This channel is a celebration of all things pop culture. So if you are new to the channel, please hit that like button and subscribe. Share with everybody you know. We're trying to get to 5,000 subscribers by the time the Superman movie comes out, and we're less than 400 subs away. I think we can do it. And of course, always among us is our moderator and trollhammer, stronger than the DK Banana Slammer. You can't stop it, you can't crop it, you can't top it. Like a B-52 bomber, Oppenheimer, he's gonna drop it. He's born from the top seed in the titanium womb. It's the NerdCage Live Gaming Prophet known as Joe of FallenOne Gaming. What is going on? And please introduce our guests for tonight.
Yes, our guest tonight is the one, the only Matt from Matt's Movie Reviews. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing very well. Thank you both very much for having me in the NerdCage tonight.
Absolutely, and I just want to say thank you for having me on your show, like 2 months ago, as we talked about the 30th anniversary of Bad Boys. So that was a lot of fun. Please check out that video if you haven't already. And Joe, who we got in the chat tonight?
In the chat tonight, I'm sure there's a ton of people lurking there. I saw about 7 or 8 of them, and I'm sure our loyal fan base is right along the way. Don't be afraid to speak up.
Yes, and Joe, just a quick few announcements here. So Joe, we have a huge show next week.
Yes, the one, the only, the legendary Cynthia Rothrock will be here.
Yeah, so have your questions ready, and then hopefully this weekend, Joe, Doom.
Yes, more Doom the Dark Ages.
That's twitch.tv/NerdCage Live. And then, Joe, what are you thinking? Tuesday for God of War 3?
We might have to do a late stream. We'll feel it out as we go. But yes, we'll be doing more God of War 3 Remastered.
That's twitch.tv/NerdCage Live. And of course, if you haven't already, get yourself a NerdCage Live t-shirt. Our t-shirts come in any size, any color, whether you're a skinny booty call or a fat fuck, big or small, we love them all. The link to our TeePublic is in the description of every video and every live stream, and then across the vast lands of social media where we also are live. Joe, go ahead and share our social media while I share these t-shirts.
Yes, if you want to get us on Twitter or Instagram, both handles are @nerd_cage. Our link to our Discord is in the description. Become a member there as well. And our Facebook discussion group, that is NerdCage Nation. We love everything you guys put up there. No spoilers, no politics, and for God's sakes, keep it civil.
Oh, yeah, and since we love our movies, get yourself a Prediction Pain shirt. So, yes. All right, so enough of our bullshit. We have a special guest here all the way from Australia. Matt's movie review. So Matt, real quick, I just want to hand the floor over to you. Explain to everybody at NerdCage Nation what you do, what your channel is, your passion for movies, all that good stuff, man. The floor is yours and where they can find you.
Yes, you can find the website www.matsmoviereviews.net. You can find me on YouTube as well at Matt's Movie Reviews and Facebook at Matt's Movie Rev. This will be 19 years this year, so I've been online doing my thing, so 20-year anniversary next year, really excited for. So yeah, just reviewing movies, podcast, got the Matt's Movie Reviews podcast, which you can find and subscribe, listen to anywhere that has podcasts. So we're up to like episode number 650 something in there now as well. So always busy there. But yeah, just reviewing films, love reviewing horror films, action, classics, new releases, you name it. And also just doing a lot of stuff on YouTube these days as well. So a lot of reviews, trying to get more into kind of like analysis kind of stuff as well, kind of long form deals. And yeah, just keep doing what I'm doing. Just keep trucking every year and trying to get to that number 20 next year. And then after that, we'll see how things happen. I'm getting older in my age. You can see the white in my whiskers here. So we'll see how long I can sustain doing the old geek movie review geek here. But so far so good. So thank you, and thank you again for the opportunity for being in front of your audience and being on your show as well.
Well, absolutely. And as we just mentioned, we're having Cynthia Rothrock on our show next week, but you just interviewed martial arts legend Scott Adkins on your channel.
Yep, I did. He has a new film coming out now. Actually, it's called Diablo. It's actually quite good. It's like in the pantheon of kind of like Scott Adkins movies. It's like definitely in the top tier there. And he does the film. He's doing a film with another martial artist named Marco Zaro, who's a martial artist from Chile. He's done like a bunch of things with Scott Adkins. He was also in John Wick 4 with Scott Adkins. They did a couple other films together. Undisputed 3, I think they did. Diablo is kind of an interesting situation in that Scott Adkins and Marco kind of like conceived the movie themselves and like came up with the idea for it. And Scott Adkins is great in it, but Marco is just, if no one's seen this guy yet, you got to watch him in this movie. He plays kind of like the main villain of the film, kind of like a mix of kind of like a martial arts version of like Jason from Friday the 13th, if you can believe that. Kind of like this almost immovable object, kind of like impenetrable to pain. He's got this really good gimmick where he's got this metal hand that he uses to fight with, but then if you try to take the hand off, it's a goddamn big kind of curved knife underneath, which he uses to kind of slice up people with. Real kind of sadistic fucker. But yeah, it's a great. The fight scenes between the two are really awesome. If you like great kind of like martial arts fight scenes, and you want to watch it, especially like on a big screen because it's out now in theaters, and it's also always a treat when you can watch a great martial arts film in the theaters. I really recommend checking out Diablo, and that's what I interviewed Scott Adkins about. And he's a cool dude. I only got like 8 minutes with him, but it was a good 8 minutes. You know how it is sometimes with these things, Jason. You get like sometimes some people don't really put in the effort. They're kind of blasé with stuff. He was pretty cool though, and I could kind of tell that he was like in the throes of doing like a very long kind of media day, but he was still cool bloke. Any questions I've thrown for him, he gave me great answers. And yeah, if you guys want to check it out, go to my YouTube, Matt's Movie Reviews, and you can check out the interview there.
All right.
Excellent. Also, so we kind of have mutual people in common here. You also used to be a part of JoeBlow.com.
Yeah, I did a bunch of scripts for the WTF series, especially concerning horror films. So I did a whole bunch of ones there. Faces of Death, Wolf Creek, Amityville 2, Firestarter. Must have done like 8 or 9 of them back in the day. Was when I was doing freelance. And yeah, so I'm good friends with the guys over at Joe Blow. John Fallon, the Arrow himself, has been something of a mentor to me over the years. Whenever I need advice or anything, I always kind of reach out to him and it helps me out with stuff. So I love the guys over at Joe Blow, and I always reach out to Joe Blow people like yourself, Jason, when I need, like, you want to talk to someone about movies, because for me, and I've worked for other places, other companies as well, but Joe Blow has always been really kind of cool because there's an independent spirit to Joe Blow, and there's a love for the movies, and there's a love for genre cinema especially. Some other places have become really kind of corporatized and kind of like they kind of talk the same, they write the same. Their content kind of feels very AI-ish, even though they're not AI yet. But Joe Blow, like, you still feel the personalities in the writing. You can still feel the personalities in the videos as well. So yeah, that's why. Whenever I write for Joe Blow, it's always a pleasure. Like Burge and Chris and like I said, John. love them all. They're all great. So it's been always a pleasure to be able to write for Joe Blow back in the day, and I still check out the site and watch the videos now. And yeah, I absolutely love Joe Blow. Number one in my opinion.
I know. For instance, I know Tyler was talking you up on Instagram. So.
Well, Tyler, I had Tyler on a few months ago. I think it just been maybe a month or so before you, Jason. We were talking about. I think we were talking about Final Destination, Tyler and I. Yeah, so we were talking about that. So that was fun. And I had a couple other guys from Joe Blow as well. I don't know off the top of my head who I had recently, but yeah, so many videos have gone by in the last few months. So many movies get lost in the shuffle. But yeah, I love all the Joe Blow guys. All awesome, all great blokes.
Yes, they are, and I'm proud to still be part of the Joe Blow family. I've been there 3 years now. It'll be 4 years come January, so I've been there 3.5 years. I got hired January of 2022, and yeah, for whatever reason, they still kept me, so good, right? So Matt, I know we're here to talk movies. So for starters, and this is basic bitch question. We ask this like everybody that comes on, but we got to ask you as a movie guy, what are your top 5 favorite movies?
All right, I do have an answer for this because this top 5 has been cemented for the last 10 years, hasn't changed at all whatsoever. All right, so okay, here we go. Number 1, The Exorcist.
Nice.
Love The Exorcist. William Friedkin. To me, William Friedkin, he still remains kind of like, even though like his output in the 80s and the 90s wasn't the best, kind of like he had a really late kind of like push, like comeback before his eventual passing, and but his work in the 70s was fantastic, and I think The Exorcist kind of stands above and beyond. It's kind of like everything you want to know about film and filmmaking, I think you watch from that movie, from performances to writing, photography, craft work, makeup effects, all that, sound effects, music, everything is exemplified in that film to the highest degree. I absolutely love that movie. Number 2, and some of these are going to be predictable, but yeah. Number 2, The Godfather Part 2. In my opinion, Al Pacino's delivers the greatest film performance of all time in that movie, as Michael Corleone in Part 2. Number 3, The First Godfather. And then number 4 will be JFK, and number 5, Rocky. But 4 and 5 kind of switch places sometimes, but those will be my top 5. I love Rocky. Stallone to me is like, and I think this is something I think I share a lot of people at Joe Blow. We have all a mutual Stallone admiration because of especially his earlier work, Rainbow and Rocky. But for me, the Rocky movies to this day still kind of get me pumped up. I don't know what it is. There's a special adrenaline juice in those movies. I don't know what it's been. You just want to get up and punch someone afterwards. I don't know why. But yeah, love Rocky and JFK. Oliver Stone's JFK. Again, Oliver Stone, kind of like William Friedkin, I think has been lost in time as just how great a filmmaker he was. And even though we don't see Oliver Stone much anymore outside of like maybe political documentaries or what have you, his stretch of films from like Salvador and Platoon in '86 all the way up to around World Trade Center, I think that came out 2003, 2005 or something. He's almost perfect, that stretch of films that you had in there, and I absolutely love his movies. But JFK to me is like the ultimate kind of like Oliver Stone movies, 3-hour big conspiracy theory montage kind of like thing towards the JFK assassination. I don't believe in everything in it, but I'll be damned if I didn't just was engrossed by every time I watch that film. It will come on halfway through it, and I'll sit down and just watch the last half of it if it's on TV. It's just one of those kind of movies. So yeah, that's my top 5 right there. Some of them predictable, but yeah, they're my choices.
Excellent. All right, for whatever reason, Joe, it looks like we got disconnected from our YouTube live. But let's just keep going because everything's still being recorded here. So as soon as we're done, I'll just upload it.
All right, that works.
We'll just record as usual here. I don't know what happened here, but the YouTube feed's totally gone. All right, so now even though we're here to talk movies, Matt, I have to ask you, because now that we cover movies, we cover games too. Do you game on your free time? Or do you have any favorite video games or not?
I'm not a gamer. I got 2 kids, so that's my free time gone right there. My 2 boys take anything else that I have. And even back then, like when I was used to game, which is like I'm 44 now, so like last time I touched like a video game controller, I was like in my 20s, so it's been a while.
Retro systems count.
Sorry?
I said retro system count, NES, Atari, whatever you were into.
Jeez, at this stage, I am a retro system. But yeah, like what I used to play back in the day, like I was a Sega head, so Mega Drive, all that kind of stuff. But when I was like, to me, the greatest pleasures that I had though wasn't gaming at home. It was like when I used to go to like the old corner store or convenience store. They used to have like a Street Fighter or a Mortal Kombat kind of thing. I remember the days when Mortal Kombat first came out and how controversial it was, because on the playground it was like, it's like Street Fighter but there's blood and they look so real and there's this thing called fatalities and blah blah blah. So yeah, so when I used to play, it was on arcade machines most of the time, and I was always Raiden on Mortal Kombat. That was my guy. To this day, he's still my guy.
Well, Raiden's
I think. Well, I think I love Raiden because I love Big Trouble in Little China, and they got the guy in Big Trouble in Little China who's clearly an influence on the. I don't know whether they both come from some type of mythology or whatever, Asian Chinese mythology or such, but yeah, that's why I love Raiden, because it reminded me of that movie, and that's one of my favorite movies. So yeah,
funny enough, I think they took that exact character model from that movie to make Raiden. So.
Yeah, I think it as much, because when I saw it, I was like, oh, I know that guy. I want to be that guy. Let's be that guy. So yeah, so that was my thing. So other than that, the only games I really used to play was like any version of NBA. Well, before they had 2K, so it would be NBA Live or NBA what have you. And I used to remember playing the '95 version with and I think to myself, these graphics are so cool, and they were just, when you look back at it now, it's freaking terrible. But yeah, but not so much gaming these days. And it's not because of any type of dislike of the craft or anything like that. It's just time, man. I just don't have the time. Once those kids come and they need their dad for something, my day goes like that, So, but yeah, but I love to. Maybe in the future, maybe when I'm retired, I'll get back into the older, find that older PlayStation or Mega Drive, so I blow the dust off and get back to it.
Yeah, I kind of have that plan myself. Is when I retire, I'm going to dig through all the games I never got to play when I was working and stuff like that. So here's a good transition. So we're going back into movies here. Do you have any favorite video game adaptations into movies, or is there any video game movies that you really enjoy?
Well, it's a hard one, right? Because there's been a bunch, especially coming out lately, and only lately have the quality of that particular genre of film being any good, right? But I always, and we were kind of talking off air about this, that '95 Mortal Kombat film, I have such affection for that movie. I remember watching it in the cinema, and again, like when you look back at it now, it's kind of like some of it doesn't really hold up as it used to back then. But the soundtrack and how they made everything work, and especially coming off how bad that Street Fighter movie was, the one with Van Damme and all that, how bad that was, and to get something that kind of matched the arcade game in some type of concept. I'm quite a big fan of that movie. Outside of that, I can't think of any others off the top of my head, but there was I don't know if this was based on a game though, but there was an adaptation of Werewolves Among Us, wasn't there, that came out a couple of years ago. I remember that came out. I forgot. I'm pretty sure it was called Werewolves Among Us. I'm going to look it up now. I rather like that movie. I can't think of anything else off the top of my head. I mean, you got my kids are huge kind of Sonic heads. They love Sonic the Hedgehog. Yeah. So I've seen all three of the movies, right? And I thought they were pretty cool. The last one, number 3 with Shadow the Hedgehog. Here we go. There's a movie called Werewolves Within that came out a few years back. And I don't know whether this was an adaptation of the Werewolves Among Us game or not. But if it was, I might put that in there as well. But yeah, so I think maybe my answer would be that first Mortal Kombat movie. I still love it. I mean, I even watched the second one when it came out in the cinema because I love the first one. So, but yeah, I think that first Mortal Kombat movie will be the one as my favorite video game adaptation so far.
It's one of, if not the best video game adaptation to date. So
yeah.
Oh, by the way, Joe, we actually are still live on Twitch though, so we haven't lost the Twitch feed.
Okay.
We're still live. We're live on Twitch, live on X, but we lost the YouTube feed, which is okay. We're just we're just throwing this up on YouTube, but we actually technically are still alive. So if you guys are on Twitter or if you're on Twitch, don't be afraid to say hello. But we appreciate y'all still being here, and to the YouTube people, we apologize, but you guys will get the full video shortly tonight. That's weird. That's never actually happened before.
Yeah, I think it might have to do with that weird glitch we had. Anyway, I think before we jump into the rabbit hole that is upcoming films, I think we have to address breaking news that happened today. And I'd like to get your thoughts on it. Spaceballs 2. Mel Brooks broke the news today, and he's 98 now, and he says it's coming out in 2 years. So I think he wants to do it when he becomes 100. So he wants to drop it before he does. So, what are your thoughts on Spaceballs 2?
Well, what was the sequel they had that came out last year in Hulu? Was it History of the World Part 2? Didn't that come out last year? That was a Mel Brooks sequel as well.
I didn't get to see it, but yes, I heard about it.
Yeah, I didn't get to watch it either because I'm just I get kind of suspicious of, especially comedies like that when they try to make them again for like a modern, 2026, 2028. I guess it'll be what 2027 is it coming out? 2026 or what year was it?
Yep.
2027. So I get kind of suspicious of that because I just don't know whether the Mel Brooks style of how he does things or how he used to do things will still kind of fly these days with today's filmmakers and film actors and such. And for by all accounts, that History of the World Part 2 was terrible. I haven't watched it myself, but it's like, yeah, okay, cool. If they do something with it, I'll be interested to see whether they're going to do kind of like a parody of the new films or whether they're going to kind of stick with the older characters, like if Bill Pullman's coming back and such. And if Bill Pullman does come back, are they going to kill him off like they did Han Solo in Force Awakens? But that will be interesting to see, I guess. But I don't know. I think I'm not sure. I have much love for that first movie. I remember watching that so many times. And I still, when I became a dad, many of those Mel Brooks jokes from Spaceballs I still tend to use as dad jokes today. The whole kind of comb in the desert and his jammer system and all that kind of stuff. I just don't know whether it would work just as well as it will today as compared to when that movie came out in, what was it, 1990 or something that film came out? 1989? I don't even know off the top of my head.
John Candy's still alive. Here's what's crazy is
that's right.
Rick Moranis is coming back. He's
coming out of retirement.
He's out of retirement. Wow. Play Dark Helmet, so
nice.
I'm
just looking here, 1987.
Yeah, I'm excited. I hope it's good, but I'm not gonna go in with the highest expectations. I'm gonna try to go in as fair as possible. But yeah, we'll it's one of those things. Is like we'll see. I
have mixed feelings about it because when it comes to comedy movies, especially comedy reunions, if you go over the 10-year gap, it kind of loses its luster as it goes forward because there's so much time in between it. Yes, it's a cult classic, but to make lightning strike twice, you have a limited time frame that you can do that, and it's usually about 10 years when it starts to drop off. So you get 20, 30 years on, and you can do it, but look at Dumb and Dumber 2 and all that stuff. It doesn't capture the same magic it used to. Even the Happy Gilmore movie that is coming to Netflix, I'm kind of a little wary of because now that I've seen certain trailers, I'm like, it's not holding the magic the way it used to.
But hold on, Joe, hold on. But to counter you, what about Beverly Hills Cop?
That is true, but Beverly Hills Cop is not just a comedy; it's an action comedy. So it has a way to pass the torch and become something completely different. Whereas a comedy movie usually has to keep the same structure.
And I think the thing with Beverly Hills Cop is that number 4 had the blessing of having number 3 beforehand. It had its stuff.
It had its stuff before it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so and I think you could learn lessons from that.
But that was a 20, 30-year gap. That's all I was just trying to point out that it was a year gap between 3 and 4.
But and to its credit,
Joe loved it. Joe loved
Yeah,
that's why. That's
so
why.
did I liked it too.
And I mean, to its credit, being comedy and everything, if it's just a regular run-of-the-mill comedy like a Happy Gilmore or something, that's a new IP, that kind of has to stick to the same as the last one. But something like a parody of Star Wars, like Spaceballs is, they can take everything that's happened between now and then and do references, and the references alone will sell it. So, and they would have to kind of return to characters that haven't been seen in a while. They're probably going to have to do tributes to the ones we've lost, and so you can have some feeling in there too. So they have a lot of different ways they can go, especially with Mel Brooks being as of age as he is and reprising the role of Yogurt at 98.
Just said that just
I mean,
that.
to be honest, Yoda was 900. So
he's 99 next week.
Yeah, exactly my point.
Yeah, but some of these guys, like Clint Eastwood, they're like, he's in his 90s, he's still working like he.
And Jay, you should like it because there's a chance that Tourette's guy could be right, and he might blow up, and we might have Rick Moranis shit everywhere. So.
I think that the big thing that bums me out about a lot of these kind of like sequels or comedies that are coming out is that they're not shown in the theaters. It seems I imagine that Spaceballs is going to be similar to like History of the World Volume 2, where it's going to go straight to streaming. And what bums me out, and I believe this,
I don't know, because the movie's called Spaceballs 2: The Search for More Money. So that gives me the impression that it's going to go to theaters because they want that box office.
I am so happy they kept that reference from the original and kept the title as is. That was great.
Yeah.
Well, I hope so, because Happy Gilmore is going straight to Happy Gilmore 2 is going straight to Netflix, and Beverly Hills Cop 4 went straight to Netflix as well. And I always thought that, in the same with Roadhouse as well. I wasn't a fan of the Roadhouse remake, but I always thought that both Beverly Hills Cop 4 and Roadhouse would have been awesome movies to watch in cinemas. I thought anyway, because you were brought in some old heads and new people as well in there, and it would have been like a really cool cinema experience, both those movies. And if by any chance that Spaceballs 2 is a cinema release, then that'll be fun, because at least you can watch it on a big screen. I remember that's how I watched it as well, and so there's a lot of kind of like, I don't know. I just think there's comedies are one thing, essential comedies like even legacy comedies are one thing they're kind of missing from cinema screens more than anything else. And I think that'll be pretty cool if we get some more of that happening in the future. I hope so anyway.
Absolutely. All right, so I guess, Joe, should we talk before we get to upcoming films? Man, I want to know, and if you and I kind of keep a list of what movies I love the most, but I think this year has been a pretty good year for movies, especially for action movies, for action cinema. But Matt, what would you say are some of the best films you've seen this year that has come out this year?
Jeez. Good question, because there's a bunch of stuff I have seen. I don't know if everyone else has. One of those movies that I really enjoyed this year, I watched a few weeks ago, is Bring Her Back, the latest film from the Philip brothers. They're the guys who did
movie. Yeah, I want to see it. I have not seen it yet. I want to, because everybody says.
So it's really good. Like, if you liked Talk to Me, which is the first film they did, you'll enjoy Bring Her Back. And also, what I really enjoy about the Philip brothers, and here in Australia, whenever an Australian filmmaker kind of gets big doing kind of like a local film, they go to the States and they do American films, and they don't really come back here anymore. But the Philip brothers, they kind of like put their foot down and said, no, we're going to film in Adelaide, which is where they're from. We're going to use Australian actors. It's going to be an Australian story, which is what they did. And I love that. And I believe that, it brings a certain, just something a little different to the usual. And what I love about Bring Her Back as well is that, and it's some of the reasons why I love The Exorcist as well, and just to go back to my favorite films, is that I think for horror movies or any genre movies, you really need to have stakes in the movie, and I think the stakes need to be based on the drama. You need to get those characters and the drama ready, and Bring Her Back does a really good job in doing that. And then, so when the shit hits the fan, and it really does in this movie in really kind of gory, kind of grisly ways, It makes the scares, makes the terror that much more palpable and more interesting. So I really dug that film. And I really liked, there was a film that came out, I think it was February or March of this year, called Marshmallow. It was a horror movie, independent film. I'm just going to find out who the... Yeah, it's a really fantastic movie. And when you... in my opinion, it's got the best twist in a film I've seen in quite some time as well, actually. So I don't want to give away any spoilers to it. And maybe me just saying this is a spoiler, maybe that kind of gives it away. But it's kind of like set in a camp, riverside camp kind of thing. So you've got that kind of like Jason kind of Friday 13 vibe, and the main kid is like this really kind of like shy, lonely boy, and he's kind of getting picked on by other kids. So, and then all of a sudden you have a presence of like a sinister kind of like boogeyman kind of thing there. So all that stuff's in the trailer and all that, but like I said, I don't want to give away too much because I really want people to watch this film. The third act in this movie is just batshit crazy, and I hope they make a sequel to it because I think there's lots of potential to it. The director's name is Daniel Del Purgatorio. I got a chance to interview him about this movie, and yeah, it's a really good film. If people out there really like watching kind of like really cool kind of horror sci-fi, indie horror sci-fi movies, something that's scary but also again it's got the stakes in there as well. I really recommend people check out Marshmallow. I think it was a fantastic film.
I'm sold. You sold me. I'm adding that to the list.
I could definitely recommend it. I'm just looking at my list now of stuff I've just looked at here. Let's see what else is there. There was a documentary that came out as well this year called "The Coddling of the American Mind." So this was basically like on the book of the same name, and essentially it's just kind of like looking at how a generation of people, especially kind of like teenagers and such through the university system, have become kind of like just a little too fragile, a little too safe spacey, and kind of like the evolution of that. And so that's a really cool movie that came out earlier this year as well. That's directed by Todd Balaker. So those are just a few of the ones that I really enjoyed. And then on Netflix, I really enjoyed the movie Haddock with Tom Hardy. That was directed by Gareth Evans. Because I'm a big fan of The Raid. I love what Gareth Evans does with action. Maybe a little too much shaky cam in there. But I think that the visceral kind of brutality of the action scenes in the movie was fantastic. And I like watching Tom Hardy take on kind of like more kind of grittier kind of indie stuff. I was never a fan of Tom Hardy, the MCU kind of Venom guy. That wasn't ever my thing. I wasn't a fan of that. So yeah, I think that would be one. And of recent movies, Ballerina I thought was pretty cool. Again, love the action scenes in that movie. I really like that film.
Just saw it last week.
I love that film as well. And I also liked Thunderbolt. So I haven't been a big fan of the MCU over the last I don't know 5-10 years or so. But I thought Thunderbolts was pretty good. By all means, though, losing a ton of money at the box office. It's not making any bank.
I know. I'm shocked. Dude, they got a smoking hot babe and Ana de Armas. It's attached to the John Wick franchise, and it didn't make no money. However, on the plus note, it was a small budget. It was like what, $80 million budget, and so it might break even when it's over said and done, and it may be a hit on streaming. It's just my concern is they've already announced more John Wick spinoffs prior. They're gonna do a Kane spinoff, the blind Donnie Yen guy. Now I'm scared they may not do it because this movie flopped. With they think, okay, if this spinoff is bad, with this, maybe this spinoff won't be good either, or make money either. That's what worries me. So,
and it is a shame because that's a movie I watched. Went to a screening today. It was on a big screen. Looks great. The fight scenes are fantastic.
Oh yeah,
again, and the
aid sequence and the flame sequence.
The flamethrowers.
Yeah.
The last half an hour when she goes, and again, I don't want to give away too much, but she goes to that village, and it's pretty much her versus a whole it's like a whole village. I mean, Joe, have you seen it yet? What do you think of it?
Not yet.
Nah,
recommended.
He
refuses. Oh my lord! How can you refuse the love of Ana de Armas?
We saw all the John Wick movies together, and he did not want to see this one. But my roommate over there, he went and saw Ballerina with me, and we had a fucking blast.
I like that
theory
film
of the spin-offs because they're still trying to figure out how they're going to bring John Wick back for 5 after the ending of 4. So I was a little wary about the spin-offs because it might be too soon. You know what I mean?
The thing about Ballerina is it's set between 3 and 4, so it doesn't really...
Oh, yeah, I know.
So that makes it pretty cool. And the one thing I was kind of concerned about when watching the film, I was afraid it was going to be kind of like one of those kind of girl boss kind of movies, kind of like a thing. But the really cool thing about what happens in this movie, and again, I don't want to give away too much, is that there are scenes in the movie where, you know, Ana de Armas' character, Eve, I think they call her in the movie. There are scenes in the movie where she knows she's clearly outmatched physically by like more kind of stronger male counterparts. And she has to kind of get resourceful for it. That's where kind of grenades come in and flamethrowers and all this kind of stuff. And that's what made it really cool to me. It wasn't like, you know, all of a sudden she had all this...
by everybody, but you're right.
Exactly.
Though. But the only way she could overcome these huge, strong, brawling guys is she used weapons. That's why I liked it. It's like, you're right. She was no girl boss. She got her ass kicked by everybody, like everybody. So that's why I like it.
And it's Ana de Armas, and I watch anything of Ana de Armas, you know, just on the fact that it's Ana de Armas. So she is.
No,
so those are the ones I liked.
I totally fell in love with her when the first movie I saw her in was Knives Out, and then when they brought her in, and then when Daniel Craig brought her into James Bond, I thought for sure she was gonna get a spinoff. Like, she was the best. She was the single best part of that fucking movie, and I thought, if we're ever gonna get a James Bond spinoff, it's gotta be her. And no, it didn't happen. Fortunately, it didn't happen. But
she was fan. That's what I think. And just to go back to Joe, what you were saying about the whole spin-off things, I totally understand what you're talking about in regards to, you know, the thing about this, the spin-off is kind of like the last refuge of the film franchise. You know, they've done the sequel, they've done, you know, the TV show, whatever. What the fuck else can we do? Oh, let's do a spin-off, you know. And a lot of times it really is a diluted kind of like, you know, product. It's compared to the original. But what's really cool about these films is that as long as they have like Chad Stahelski on board and he's there with his fight team, and they can get those fights down right. Because for me, when I watch action movies, fight scenes or action is kind of like almost kind of like vocabulary. It's almost like dialogue. It's speaking its own language. As long as they got that John Wick language down and they got it the way that they usually do it, but they just do it, you know, just to fit that new character, whoever it is. It works. It really does. And any concerns I had with it in regards to what we're talking about before, Kill Boss, or any type of diluting of the product, or it might be too I don't know, Len Wiseman is attached to it, and I wasn't a big fan of Underworld stuff, so maybe a little too glitzy, a little too glossy, whatever. It's like it went away. It had style. It had a certain grit to it, and I really liked the and like I said, the fight scenes are just fantastic. I mean, the grenade scene itself. I mean, you almost feel like the chair was shuddering. It's crazy how effective that sequence was. I loved it.
No, I really liked it a lot. I will say I still like the other 4 films better, but that's not saying I dislike. I really like this a lot. I just think the other 4 films were better. Speaking of that, before we got into the ballerina, I want to point out, because you mentioned the documentary, I just watched the documentary the other day, and I don't know if you got it in Australia yet or not, but I watched the Pee Wee Herman documentary on HBO Max.
Right.
Did you happen to catch that yet or no?
Not yet, no. I'm pretty sure we will have it here. We just have Max opened up here in Australia like a couple of months ago. So it will be available. Was it a feature length thing, or was it like a limited series kind of deal?
Well, here's the thing. It is a feature length, but they split it into 2 parts. So it's actually it's a 3-hour documentary, but they put it into 2 hour and a half parts. Because it was.
What's his name? Paul Rubens?
Paul Rubens,
yeah.
I loved it. It's not the best documentary I've ever seen, but I did enjoy it. I'm glad I watched it because everybody at Joe Blow raved about it. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna watch this. So definitely I count it as a movie, so I actually have it in my top 10 movies so far this year.
Nice.
My favorite movie this year in 2025 was Mission Impossible: Final Reckoning.
Uh-huh.
I loved it. Now I'm a little biased because Joe and we're from Syracuse, New York. That's Tom Cruise's hometown. So little bit of biasism there because I love Tom Cruise.
Yeah, I mean, he named his daughter after Syracuse. It's Surrey Cruz.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Interesting. No, I'm a big Tom Cruise fan. I'm part of the unofficial Tom Cruise fan club. I'm a huge fan of his movies, and I love the Mission Impossible films as well. I watched I took my wife to the Sydney premiere. We watched it on IMAX, which was just fantastic. I mean, the visuals were just great, you know. And I got to say, that submarine sequence was just fucking insane.
It was scary.
It really was.
That was scary.
Very scary.
Yeah.
Yeah, big time. And the plane sequence at the end as well, fantastic. I think the only problem I have with the film, and I do like Tom Cruise and Christopher McQuarrie, they're kind of like the combination of them two. I'm a big fan of that first Jack Reacher film they did together as well. The only problem I had with the film is that sometimes it just takes itself just a little too seriously, especially kind of like in like more dialogue moments. The exposition in the movie was just kind of like a little crazy as well. It's like, yes, we know what's going on. We don't need to repeat the whole thing over and over. But I thought they could have had a little more fun with it. But the film itself, like the sequences, the craft of the movie as well.
Yeah.
And again, going back to like, you know, women they will see on the screen, Hayley Atwell's like up there as well for me. Like I'll watch her on anything as well. So yeah, fantastic. But overall, it was a good send-off for the series. We mentioned before about the James Bond film, the one with Ana de Armas, which was what was it called? Was it No Time to Die? I think it was called. The last James Bond. I wasn't a fan of that one, and I was kind of afraid that this movie will go down that road with some of the creative decisions that movie made. But I was glad to see the film end the way it did.
Yeah.
But if it's going to be the last Mission Impossible movie for Tom Cruise, I'm happy for that because I think he's done the best he can with that, and I'm kind of looking forward now to seeing the next phase of Tom Cruise, which I hope would be kind of like recreating what he did in the 90s and working with some really kind of high-class kind of filmmakers.
Yeah.
I know he's doing a film next with Alejandro Inarritu. They're doing a film together, and I'm sure he's going to do action stuff, but I want to see Tom Cruise kind of like do some of the drama stuff he used to do. That's what I really want to see. I want to see kind of like older Tom Cruise do more dramatic works with some really fine kind of. I want to see Tom Cruise work with Paul Thomas Anderson again. I want to see Tom Cruise do something with Mark, like Tarantino, or before he retires, or maybe do something with I don't know, Michael Mann again, like something like that. I reckon will be great. That's what I want to see next from him, because I think Tom Cruise kind of like the daredevil actor. I think he's pushed it as far as he can, and he's great. He's great at it. I just think that it's getting a little too dangerous to becoming a gimmick now, as opposed to.
I think
like
there's only
being
one thing they have yet to do, and that's the ultimate handshake, and that's Ethan Hunt and James Bond together in a film.
It won't. It's not gonna. That's probably not gonna happen. But I'll say this. Back on Mission Impossible, I had the same thoughts. My only problem with the movie was like the middle of the movie, like the second hour of the movie felt slow. Not slow, but where was like the beginning was like fast paced. The last third was insane. I felt like the middle of the movie was a little paced differently. That's the only problem I had. But other than that, I loved it. And as far as Tom Cruise, what he's got going on next, I heard he's going to space in his next movie. And he's also talking about Days of Thunder Part 2 and Top Gun 3. I'm a Days of Thunder guy. I mean, I have to go back and watch it. I'm not a race car person, so I'm going to have to go back and watch it because it's been so long. I mean, I think I've seen it on TV a couple of times when I was a kid, but I think Days of Thunder, I mean, if he does it right, I think it could be a hit. But bring on Top Gun 3, because Top Gun Maverick was absolutely fucking amazing, and I think he's got one more Top Gun in him. But yeah, I'm with you though. I wouldn't mind seeing him go back to some more dramatic stuff either, just because, you know, I root for the guy. I know people talk about his Scientology. I don't care. He's the hardest working man in Hollywood. He's got the best work ethic in Hollywood. He makes movies to make movies to entertain. He does not get into politics or anything like that. And like I said, he's one of us in Syracuse, so yeah, I'm always gonna be a fan of Tom Cruise, and like I said, whatever he does next, I will support that dude 110%.
I always liked Days of Thunder, but I think a sequel will be tricky because there's a minefield there, which in that was a movie he met Nicole Kidman. So, you know, I can just imagine him doing, you know, press for junkets and people like, why didn't Nicole Kidman come back for this one? What was Nicole think about this? And I don't think those questions he wants to be asked. You know, it's like, you know, that was like his second marriage. He doesn't want to, you know, talk about that. So that could be something. But then again, if she shows up in that film, reprises a role, that could be something as well, because yeah, I don't know, like I do like Days of Thunder. I just don't know whether it will work. I think you know what I think will determine F1's coming out end of the month, the Brad Pitt movie. So if that does well,
I did like did you ever see Ford versus Ferrari? That was good.
I did. I did. That was pretty good. Yeah. Rush with Chris Hemsworth, the Ron Howard movie. You ever seen that one?
Oh, I haven't.
That's really good. If you can watch Rush with Chris Hemsworth and Daniel Brühl, it's a Ron Howard film. That's a really good kind of racing car kind of movie as well. That was more F1, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, that's a cool film. But yeah, I don't know. Days of Thunder sequel. I don't know. Top Gun 3. Yeah, maybe. I don't know about Days of Thunder though. I don't know if that's a kind of sequel.
I don't know either. But Tom Cruise sounds determined to do it. And like I said, I'm never going to count Tom Cruise out. But yeah, Mission Impossible is definitely my favorite movie of the year. Now my favorite horror movie of the year, not my favorite movie, but my favorite horror movie was The Monkey. I
haven't seen it yet.
What?
Oh, no, I haven't seen it yet. It's on my list. There's a whole bunch of stuff I haven't watched yet. It's on my list.
I did not. Okay, I went in with pretty low expectations. My roommate is like a huge Stephen King guy, so he really wanted to see it. So I was like, okay, we'll go see The Monkey. I went in blind as possible. Like, I knew about the movie because of Joe Blow, because I edit the interviews, but I didn't really like look into it. Like, I just, you know, did what I had to do, threw some footage in. Like I said, I went in blind as possible, and I not only the movie like had like very awesome gore sequences, but I laughed so fucking hard. It was so fucking funny. And it was the guy. It was what's his face there? The Oz Perkins, who.
Osgood Perkins, yeah.
Yeah, he's Anthony Perkins' son, but he also directed Longlegs. But yeah, this movie, I thought this movie was way better than Longlegs. And again, I'm not the biggest Stephen King guy, but yeah, The Monkey was my favorite horror movie of the year so far, followed by Final Destination. Final Destination was fun. And it was a great send off for Tony Todd. I was moved. I was really moved by that.
Those are two I gotta watch. I got screeners for him. Just haven't got a chance to watch him yet. But Monkey's definitely here today in Australia. It's Friday the 13th, so I think that's prime horror watching today. Yeah. So I think the Monkey I need to give the Monkey a go. But yeah, like same with Longlegs. I wasn't, it was okay. I wasn't too enamored with it. I watched his first movie actually, which was called in America I think it's called The Black Coat's Daughter. There was a movie. Actually, you can watch it for free on YouTube. It's part of their free movie kind of thing. Osgood Perkins' first film. So that's worth watching if you like watching like a supernatural kind of creepy. A bit of a slow burn though, but if you like that kind of stuff, it's worth checking out. But yeah, he's an interesting bloke in that like two movies back to back. I don't remember the last time kind of like a director kind of released movies back to back kind of like that. Within consecutive years, usually there's some space in between there. But yeah, he jumped right on that Longlegs hype train, and you've got the Monkey out there too, which is pretty cool. So yeah. Definitely will watch it.
The only movie that I did not get the chance to see that everybody saw was what's that vampire movie with Michael B. Jordan? Sinners.
Sinners.
I did not see Sinners yet. I know everybody's like Jay, you gotta see this after movie. I will. I just never got around to it. I will. In fact, I think it's on HBO Max now, or it's going to be like next week or something like that. So I will definitely try to catch Sinners. The biggest surprise. Here's what what movie that I went in blind. I did not think I was gonna like, but I ended up liking it because, I went with my girlfriend at the time. Did you see Black Bag?
Oh, the Steven Soderbergh movie. I haven't seen that one yet. No.
I loved it. I fucking loved it. I didn't think I was going to, but yes, if you get the chance, watch Black Bag. It was fantastic. It was definitely one of those movie that makes you think, keeps you on the edge of your seat. It's one of those movies I think it's worth a second viewing because you want to pick up on all the little details that you may not have picked up on the first time. But yeah, Black Bag was actually really, really, really executed. Loved it.
Kind of like a espionage kind of thriller thing, is it?
Yes.
But like more kind of like, but less action, more kind of like
the
cloak and dagger kind of stuff.
Yeah, so it's a romantic espionage film, if that makes any sense. But it's also kind of like a mystery unraveling too. So and again, really great performances from Kate Blanchett and Michael Fassbender. Again, that was the biggest surprise for me because again, I didn't care to go see it. Not that I didn't want to, but it wasn't like on my radar. But anyway, I got dragged to the movies to go see it, and I ended up loving it. So that was the biggest surprise for me. So, yeah.
That's another one on the list I got to watch as well. At the start of the year, I wasn't watching a lot of the new stuff, and January, February is kind of a bit of a dumping ground, right? And what these movies come out. So there's a bunch of films I haven't seen yet. Like I'm a big fan of Jason Statham, so I haven't watched Working Man yet either.
Working Man.
That's one I want to watch. I love him and David Ayers making movies together. I'm a big fan of David Ayers and stuff. Stallone wrote it.
The script, yeah.
That's right.
Just a fair warning though, it's almost the exact same script as the last Rambo movie, Rambo Last Blood.
Oh, right.
Yeah, Mexican cartel kidnapping people. It's the same thing. He did.
Yeah.
He just took that script and applied it to Jason Statham.
Well, Stallone tends to do that kind of stuff.
Yeah, but yeah, if you like The Beekeeper, you'll like A Working Man. I promise you.
I did like The Beekeeper. I did.
Yeah.
I did.
Yeah.
Not to get too far off topic, but when it comes to Stallone and everything, and we'll shift to TV series and everything, I'm interested on how they're going to bring Sam Jackson into Tulsa King. I don't know how that's going to work.
Is he going to be in Tulsa King, is he?
That's what they're saying, yeah.
Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, interesting.
So
for season 3.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting to say the least.
Well, from what I remember of that last episode, you guys watched Tulsa King season 2?
Joe has, I haven't.
So from what I remember, Joe, of the last episode, he's abducted by some type of government agency or something like that. Mm-hmm. Maybe Sam Jackson's like an FBI handler or something like that. No?
Could be.
Maybe.
Could be. Kind of fits the bill for him lately.
I think so. Kind of like authoritative government Nick Fury, without the eye patch kind of deal. Could be that.
Yeah. Just wondering how much the MF word is going to be thrown around with Sam Jackson. You never know.
Oh, of course not. No, and I don't think they've ever done anything together, have they? Sam Jackson and
that's what the most interesting thing is. I don't think Stallone and Sam Jackson have ever been on screen together. Not that I can remember.
No.
Yeah, I was
Me either.
Think of that's crazy.
Unless there's some type of loose Marvel connection of an end credit scene or something, because
I was gonna say like Stallone was in Guardians of the Galaxy, but I don't think Nick Fury was in it. So yeah.
Yeah, so that's only part I can think of. I can't think of anything in the 80s or 90s they would have done. So they're very interesting little kind of. Combination of the two guys there together again, and like I said, I'm a big Rockies. I'm a big Stallone guy, so I watched all the Tulsa King stuff and such. And sometimes it can be a little depressing watching Stallone movies. I know he's got one on the movie came out, Armored, I think it's called. That's supposedly just terrible. It's him and Jason Patrick in some type of action thriller. And I know the guys in the Corridor Crew channel did a whole thing on the visual effects in that film, and it just looked absolutely terrible, the visual effects they used in the movie in regards to gun muzzle fire and all the other stuff as well, and suppose it's really bad, which bums me up because I really don't get how someone with a stature like him, how he can't kind of like make better movies or work with better people. which is why I really like Tulsa King, because Taylor Sheridan, he's kind of like the in guy now. And,
Yeah, that whole,
and such.
whole Taylor Sheridan shows on Paramount Plus. I don't know if you have if you see on Paramount if you guys got Paramount Plus in Australia, but yeah,
We
a
do,
lot
yeah.
of those Taylor Sheridan shows are like amazing. So like it's Paramount Plus has become my like second favorite streaming service here. Like it's they don't have a lot of stuff, but what they do have, the quality is great. It's quality over quantity when it comes to Paramount Plus.
Max is starting to have an identity crisis. They don't know what name they want to be. They're splitting CEOs and all this other stuff, so it's kind of tough.
Yeah, Warner's just all kind of messed up these days, isn't it? They're shelving films, they're breaking this up, they're doing that.
Even their gaming
that.
stuff falls apart.
Is that right?
Yeah. So
I don't know. It's a shame because that's just such a respected kind of like industry, kind of like tentpole Warner Brothers. The whole thing, it's been around for such a long time, made such big
they're one of the
big
titans for
franchises,
sure.
and then all of a sudden, like they even got rid of all their kind of Looney Tunes stuff as well, which is kind of insane to me because that's kind of like always been kind of like I never ever. I used to always. To this day, I still love Looney Tunes, and I can't think of watching a Looney Tunes show without seeing the Warner Brother kind of like animated Warner Brother symbol at the start and such and all that. And what that's going to look like now, I don't know. And it's going to be interesting to see what Superman does when that comes out next month. If that does anything at all.
We got the early. We got the early screenings. We're seeing it 4 days early.
Very cool. So what that does, I'm not sure because I think a lot of stuff kind of rests on that.
Okay, so now I gotta bring this up because man, we've run down so many rabbit holes, but I gotta bring this up. So I'm in the minority here. I love Zack Snyder. I hated what Warner Brothers did to him, that he didn't get to finish his Superman Justice League arc. And I love Man of Steel. I'm not the biggest James Gunn fan. So I have some real skepticism going into this movie. I just watched the latest trailer today, and I'm like, oh god, these special effects do not look good. But because we're NerdCage Live, we have to cover comic book movies, like we have to, because that's what our audience likes. I want to know what your thoughts are going into this new Superman movie, your thoughts on DC, Zack Snyder, all that stuff.
I think it's a real shame that we're not going to see Henry Cavill as Superman anymore. That's number one. Because I think outside of Chris Reeves, he was like kind of like the best, kind of like in my opinion, portrayal, and that includes all the TV and all the other stuff in between as well. And I would have liked to have seen at least one more, go at it, with that universe kind of thing that they had there. I think maybe the big issue they had with the whole Warner DC universe thing they had there with based around Henry Cavill's Superman and Ben Affleck's Batman and all that, maybe they should have had different directors taking on different heroes and put their own spin on it. Maybe that's was the way to go. I'm not sure. I'm a fan of Zack Snyder as well. Some of his films I'm not a big fan of, but the ones that hit, I absolutely love.
Yeah, I agree.
And then and I'm a fan of. I actually thought that Batman vs Superman is actually quite underrated, in my opinion. I think it's just really when you're rebooting something so quick, get a little bit of whiplash. It's like, didn't we already just do this? You know what I mean? And I just don't know whether they can pull it off, because I think the problem I had when I was watching the trailer is that already they're introducing all these kind of side characters, kind of like your Guy Gardner as Green Lantern. A lot of them like
already
already
do everything all at once in case it flops. They can say, oh well, we touched on everything.
See, to add to what you just said, like my thing is, I'm not a gun person, but my thing is this movie doesn't even look like a part 1. This looks like a part 2, part 3.
Yeah.
This doesn't look like a Superman movie. This looks like a DC movie with Superman in it. Like this doesn't look like a Superman movie to me.
Exactly.
What I think would have been really cool is if they did what Matt Reeves did with Batman, where it's kind of like standalone in his own universe. It's not sharing with anything. It's just its own thing. Because I think all these different franchises, I really hate the word multiverse these days because it just pisses me off, but because I use it so much. I think they're trying too hard now to kind of replicate what MCU did with those first three phases of the MCU with the combination rings to Endgame. We're NBA fans here, right? Like, not everyone can shoot like the Golden State Warriors. That's what they do, and everyone starts shooting the ball. A lot of times they're going to miss it, and then they're going to hit it because they don't have Steph Curry on their team. And I think a lot of these other franchises are doing the same kind of thing. So when I watched that trailer for the new Superman, and I like how Superman looks, I like the casting of Lois Lane, which is something they don't get right often in these movies. But as soon as I seen like all these other characters and such, I was like, oh man, are we gonna do another thing where we're gonna have like a multi kind of like IP kind of like cross films kind of thing? Can we just not have like a Superman movie just be a Superman movie? That's what I really want to see, just a Superman movie. Because to me, in my opinion, the '78 Chris Reeves still holds the best one of those, because it was just him, it's just his story. And you don't have to do the whole thing again where he comes down from Krypton, whatever. It can be like maybe 5 years into him being Superman. That's fine. I mean, they did that with the Batman with the Matt Reeves movie. You don't see it. Yeah, exactly. You don't see that stuff. That's a great movie, but I don't want to see Nathan Fillion, and he's a fine actor, and it seems like a real cool bloke. I don't want to see him in another James Gunn film, doing like his cameo kind of thing as some character. And a lot of us won't really have any type of won't care for one way or another. I just want to see Superman, Lois, what's his name, who's playing Lex Luthor again, Nicholas Hoult.
Nick Hoult, yep.
He's a great actor. I think he'll be great as Lex Luthor. He's Lex Luthor.
I actually find myself rooting for Lex Luthor more than Superman in this one.
Well, he's a fantastic. I think he's a fantastic actor. I really loved him in Juror number 2 and Nosferatu. I think he was great in those movies. Yeah, that was great. And so I really want to see what that part of the movie looks the most interesting to me. But the whole kind of like chucking in all these other superheroes in there. Let's just have a Superman movie. Give me Superman. That's what I want to see. Let it be Superman versus Lex. Maybe throw in some really cool kind of like, I don't know, bad guys in there. That's fine. The Superman to fight against. But I don't know. I really don't know. It's just it's so quick. The turnaround is just so quick for me.
Yeah,
it felt like yesterday I watched Man of Steel.
Yeah. See, if Warner Brothers came up to me and said, "Hey Jay, produce a Superman movie," you know what I would have done? I would have been like, "Okay, it's just gonna be Superman, but we're not gonna do General Zod because people are gonna compare it to Man of Steel. Let's do Superman versus Brainiac as our first movie." That's what I would. Mm-hmm. That's what I would have. Should have Superman, Brainiac. Nobody, and okay, Lex Luthor, nobody else. Like that. Yeah. That would have been my like part 1 to a new DC Superman movie. But no, they're doing way too much here. So
and the truth is that the multiverse thing. First of all, James Gunn did Marvel before he did DC, so he brings a lot of that mentality with him to DC. On top of that, all of these universe-based things are starting to use the multiverse as kind of a failsafe. Like, if it's not received well, we'll just say that another universe is canon and this one isn't, and they'll just kind of throw it away. Like, there's always that lingering in the background. Well, we can bring Cavill back if we use the multiverse theory to do it, and it's like, well, that's not how I want you to bring him back. I mean, if you're going to bring him back in any capacity like that, fine, make him Bizarro then. But I mean. It's just they use it as a retcon device, and it's not the way it was intended.
Yeah. And I think Henry Cavill is just a great actor. He's one of those. He has the potential to be like the next big movie star. It just seems like every time he kind of like has his own movie kind of tentpole kind of thing, it just kind of falls apart, which is a shame. Because no, it's not whatsoever. So I'm really interested to see what's going to happen with Voltron. I'm really interested to see what's going to happen with Highlander, because I'm a huge fan of the original Highlander movie. And and I know if I said this to you when we spoke last time, Jason, it's like I want to make swords great again. I want swordplay back in. I want more. I know they're making what's it called, the Master Universe movies coming out, and hopefully we get another shot at maybe a Conan in the future. I don't know, but I want to see that stuff back. I want to see that kind of like.
And I want to see Arnold back as like old man Conan. That's what I want to see.
King Conan. Yeah.
You know what I was just thinking about too the other day? You know what I want to see? Because, Angelina Jolie just turned 50. I know I'm the minority here, but I was thinking about this the other day. I want to see old lady Lara Croft. I want to see Angelina back for one more Lara Croft film. Now that she's in her 50s, I would love to see what Lara Croft's up to in her 50s. And she has like one last, mission. I that's just me. I'm a sucker for these old man, because I'm getting old. I'm not as old as you, Matt, but I'm 38, going on 39 in a couple months here. But like, I kind of like movies like Logan. I mean, I would love to see. I would love to see Wesley Snipes get one more Blade movie, see Old Man Blade. Like, I'm a huge fan of the Expendables. Like, I want to see apply that same formula, like one last mission, one last hurrah, with Angelina Jolie as Lara Croft.
And man, I know you're not much of a gamer, but back to the swordplay thing. If they're going to do a video game adaptation, and I'm not sure why it's not been done yet, I think they need to do a video game adaptation of Ninja Gaiden.
I'm trying to remember that one. Is that like an old school game? Is it Ninja Gaiden?
It started on Nintendo. Yes, it started as a retro game. And
yeah, we just saw Ninja Gaiden 4 got announced on the Xbox show.
Yeah, Ryo Hayabusa needs to have his own movie.
But yeah,
Ninja Gaiden.
I'm hopeful that the Henry Cavill Highlander reboot will be good because of Chad Stahelski. And Chad Stahelski said he's keeping the Queen soundtrack. He's not changing the soundtrack at all. He's keeping the same soundtrack for Queen. So I'm like, all right.
Now, Jay, you think there's going to be any cameos from any of the guys?
Yes. You gotta get Chris Lambert, and you gotta get Clancy Brown. Clancy Brown was in John Wick 4. So they got.
What about what's his face? We've been trying to get on the show forever.
Oh, Adrian. Yeah. You got cameos, man. They got to. My only concern is, okay, Henry Cavill is already a pretty hulking individual, so who the fuck's gonna play the Kurgan? Like, they're gonna need like a really big to play the Kurgan. That's gonna have to power over Henry Cavill.
Like a mountain or something. The strongman guy.
Yeah. Someone that I thought would be great, but it probably won't happen because I don't know. But I don't know. Do you guys watch WWE?
Yeah.
I've started to dip my feet back into it. Yeah.
So Drew McIntyre is like a really big, muscly Scotsman who comes out with a sword sometimes. But I don't know whether he has that kind of, he could pull off that kind of, really kind of grisly, kind of gritty villain energy. I know he plays a villain or a heel, or whatever you want to call it, in the WWE, but that's more like a psychological kind of thing that he does. But I reckon if you need someone like really big and strong and has got type of experience doing physical stuff and has been in movies, he's done movies now a couple of times, he will be a cool guy to have, especially if you're considering, if they're going to go down the whole kind of Scotsman kind of thing with the Highlander, which they should. Christopher, the thing that's always funny about the Highlander for me is that you have Christopher Lambert, like this French guy, playing the Scotsman, and then you have like the Scotsman and Sean Connery playing the Spaniard. I always love that. But again, you can always go the whole thing like, we're immortal. We've been around for thousands of years. We've got all types.
That was the
exactly.
Lots of different places. He's like, I'm not.
Yes. That's right. Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. And also who's going to play the mentor character as well to Henry Cavill, because I think the Sean Connery casting in that movie, the original Highlander, was like really big for that film. He was like the biggest star at the time in that movie, outside of Queen itself as a soundtrack. Sean Connery was a big star. So who's going to play that role as well? Would be really
and that's why I think it would be cool to shift roles and have like the mentor figure be Christopher Lambert, kind of like a passing of the torch, but it's still a reboot. You know what I mean?
Well, I myself would love to see Keanu Reeves play the mentor character if they're going to have Chad Stahelski. That would be pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
If you're going to have like an old school action star teaching, and like, you wouldn't necessarily call Henry Cavill new school, but like, the next kind of like Connor McLeod kind of thing, that would be a pretty kind of cool, really little thing there. Like he can be like the mentor there, because I don't think he's necessarily done anything like that. Ballerina withstanding, I know he's in that movie, but that would be pretty cool if they had that kind of like connection there, to do it that way. But yeah, I think that'll be great to see the Highlander coming up. But yeah, Superman, I don't know. I mean, I'm more looking forward to Superman than I am Fantastic Four. But yeah, I'm not sure which one really, whether this new Superman's going to really. I wouldn't say it's got me excited. I'll watch it. I'll probably get like an invite to watch the film. I'll watch it for sure. My boys will want to watch it for sure.
Yeah.
So I'll take them to it. But I just don't know, man. I don't know what's going to happen with that. I'm just waiting for Batman 2. I don't know what the fuck's going on that film. It's been like 8 years or something, like 9 years.
Yeah.
And it's well. Here's one thing I do know is I guess Matt Reeves has been ill.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think what they should do. This is just my opinion. They should just greenlight Penguin season 2 to hold us over till Batman, because Batman won't be coming out anytime soon. I think they should just do find a way and just do another Penguin season, because Penguin was really good. In fact, I think Penguin is better than the Batman, if I want to be completely honest.
And they got that Green Lantern show coming out as well that day with what's that guy's name?
The guy from Godzilla there. And then they got the other that one black
bloke from
Mufasa. I know who they are. I just can't think of their names right now. But I guess that's part of the new DC universe that James Gunn is doing.
Yeah, and again, like I can't. It's hard for me sometimes to get into a lot of these films because there's all these television element, streaming element to it.
Yeah.
And there's only so many hours, like talking before about gaming and stuff. There's only so many hours in a day you can dedicate yourself to watching stuff. And I think it's just sometimes when you have these big gaps in the narrative or in the storyline that are dedicated to other mediums, that makes it kind of hard. Like when I was watching Thunderbolts, I didn't necessarily know who Julie Louis-Dreyfus' character was, because she was very pivotal, from what I understand, in Falcon in the Winter Soldier. I think she was like, that's where she made her debut in that.
Yeah, and I didn't even watch that. So it's like I told Jay, I was like, every time she came on screen, I was like, I didn't connect it to her character. I kept seeing Seinfeld every single time she came on screen.
I kept thinking Veep, because she was like in a governmental role and she was kind of like doing that thing. Right? So.
Here's another movie coming out. I personally don't care to see it. I'm not gonna go see it, but we got a Jurassic Park movie coming out. What are your thoughts? I tapped out of Jurassic Park a long time ago.
Yeah, I think Chris Pratt ruined it for you.
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh man, my thing at Jurassic Park is this. Like, I'm gonna go to see it because I want to take my older son, because he loves like that kind of stuff. But he was saying the same thing to me. Like, he just watched all the Jurassic Park movies, Jurassic World and everything, and he has the same opinion as me, which is the first Jurassic Park and the first Jurassic World are the best movies, and the rest of them are like, okay. And when I was showing him the trailer for the new one, we both kind of like had the same thing. He's 12, mind you, he's 12 years old and just watched these movies, and we're both saying the same things, like, why do these people keep going back to the dinosaurs? Why do they keep bringing a kid with them? Why this? Why that? And I was like, well, number one, they need to make money, because that's why they're re-releasing these films, and number two is like, it's just like, I don't know, that's just the formula they're always trying to repeat. But you can't. The closest thing they got to that first movie was Jurassic World. I did like Jurassic World Part 1. I like Jurassic Park Part 1, but everything else in there, I'm not a fan of.
See, I'm a minority in the group. I like 1. Obviously, 1 is always going to be the best. But yeah. I enjoyed 3. And not many people
with actually, I don't mind. That was Joe Johnston directed that, didn't he? Rocketeer and all that. He did that film. Yeah, I didn't mind 3. Yeah. But for me, I didn't even watch the last one, because after I watched the second one, I was like, the whole point of the second one was like, they bring the dinosaurs to the mainland, and I'm like, they're gonna die. Leave them with the fucking volcano. They shouldn't have been here in the first place. Movie's over 10 minutes. We can all go home. But they didn't do that, and I was like, I can't be bothered after that. So no, nothing in it. There's nothing in there that kind of, outside of like watching Scarlett Johansson, there's nothing in there that kind of really appeals to me for the new one, to tell you the truth.
And what I've noticed is, like, when they first implemented Jurassic Park in the first one, it was basically a horror flick. Right. Ever since, they've turned it into this super adventure series. It's like, no, it's not an adventure series. It's supposed to be a horror movie.
Yeah. The first movie was essentially Jaws with dinosaurs, essentially.
Exactly.
What it was. Yeah. with better animatronics, and that's all. And they still hold up as well. I was watching the first one with my son like a year ago, and they still look fantastic. They really do. Because I'm a big advocate for like physical effects, you know, where makeup, creature designs, and animatronics over CGI. I'm a big advocate for that stuff. And that first movie still looks fantastic, and even some of the CGI more elements still look good as well. Which is just, I think, like that year alone, like if you talk about like a year in movies or filmmakers, like Spielberg did Schindler's List and Jurassic Park released them in the same year. That's kind of like, that's kind of like, I can't think of anyone. No. It's just, I can't think of anyone else who's done that, you know. So, but yeah, the new one, I don't know. If I was going to watch anything, there's a movie coming out soon. I don't know if you guys have seen a trailer for it yet. It's called Primitive War. Vietnam set movie. They go into the jungle, but instead of finding like, you know, like the Viet Cong, they have to take on raptors, like dinosaur raptors. Somehow raptors get on this island. Australian-made movie directed by Luke Spark. It looks really cool. If you ever get a chance to watch a trailer for Primitive War, that looks like the type of horror action dino movie I want to watch, because there's something kind of old school and cool about it. And I know Luke Spark, the filmmaker, has done a bunch of films here in Australia, and and it looks pretty cool. So if anyone hasn't got a chance to watch a trailer for Primitive War, watch it, and mark it on your calendar, because I think it's coming out maybe like September or August or something in the States. So yeah, I'm gonna check it out.
I'm going in with low expectations.
He was burned.
Yeah. You know, we're very passionate Mortal Kombat fans.
Right.
You woke up an entire town at 3 a.m.
Bet 2 with Carl Urban comes out October 26th. We're supposed to be getting a trailer with Superman, it sounds like. Again, I'm going in with low expectations. My excitement is dead after that 2021. I hated that 2021 movie, but being a Mortal Kombat fan, I have to go see this movie, and I am a huge Carl Urban fan. I have to go see this movie. I'm going in with, like, again, low expectations. But what are your thoughts on the? Well, first and foremost, what are your thoughts on the 2021 movie? And since you being an Aussie, is there anything you know about the new Mortal Kombat movie that maybe other people don't know? But go ahead, Mortal Kombat 2 coming out in October.
I didn't even know that Carl Urban was in Mortal Kombat 2, to tell you the truth.
Yeah, he's Johnny Cage of all people.
Johnny Cage, which looks cool. Okay, he plays Johnny Cage. He'll probably be too old to Johnny Cage, and Johnny Cage supposed to be like a young kind of...
Well, here's the thing. There has been depictions of Johnny Cage where he's older. We got that in Mortal Kombat X 10, and we got it in the Mortal Kombat Legacy series when Casper Van Dien played him. My problem with Carl Urban playing this current Johnny Cage in Mortal Kombat is that he's an older Johnny Cage, and he's 20 some odd years older than Sonya Blade. That's the problem I have with this, is that in Mortal Kombat lore, in the movies and in the games, you know, Johnny Cage and Sonya Blade end up being an item.
Right.
Jessica McNamee is like, what, 31 now? Carl Urban's in his mid-50s. I have a problem with that. I don't know if
He does look a little younger, clean-shaven, but I don't think it brings the age gap down quite enough.
Yeah, my thing is, are they going to acknowledge their romantic interest, or are they going to like not acknowledge it at all? It's just weird to me that they picked an older Johnny Cage and a young Sonya. That I'm scratching my head a little bit, and also he does look much older compared to Liu Kang. I mean, we've seen the set photos; like he looks much older than Jax, Jax, Liu Kang, and all them. So, but I love Carl Urban, but we will see. We will see.
I mean, the whole, and just to, before anyone from New Zealand jumps on here, yes, we all know Carl Urban's from New Zealand, not from Australia, so I just want to put that out there first off before we start off a Pacific War here. But just want to say, the first movie, what I didn't like about it was they introduced a new character, that Cole Young character, which I don't get. You've got a million fucking characters to choose from. You don't need a new guy. Just choose the guys who you have in there already. So I didn't get that. I didn't like that about it. I thought the fight scenes were pretty cool in it and all that, but you know, I think the reason why they have Carl Urban in here is because they're trying to reach a certain demographic that the boys have, which is very clear to me, which is what I have it here. And I think like Carl Urban from like 10, 15 years ago would have been awesome in this role, right? I mean, around the time he did Dread and all that, which again, talking about movies that never got a sequel, I mean, Dread was just fantastic. I would love that.
I just watched it again recently. It still holds up.
It's a great movie. So I don't know. I mean, the first movie I kind of had a certain amount of expectations. Is like, okay, they haven't done a movie in a while. Updated effects. We're in an era of Game of Thrones now. They could get a little grisly with it again and doing all this sort of stuff. Oh, it's going to be R-rated, awesome. And then I watched it. I was like, no, it's okay. It's pretty cool. The thing that I never really got about some of these movies, sometimes whether it be Street Fighter or Mortal Kombat or what have you, is that I think they try a little too hard sometimes to try to put like a certain kind of narrative story in it when all people want to see is just people just fighting. Mm-hmm. You know, to me, the template that they need to use for a lot of these movies should be Bloodsport, the Van Damme movie.
Yeah.
Which supposedly is getting an A24 remake, which I don't get whatsoever. So I think that if they made a movie like that, like a Bloodsport, but like with like guys throwing fucking flames or what have you in different settings, would be pretty cool.
And it's funny that you say that too, because Johnny Cage is based off Jean-Claude Van Damme. So
there we go. There we go. I mean, I don't know. I have zero to little expectations, zero to little knowledge about there even being a number two, let alone that, you know, Carl Urban was going to be in it.
Well, I'm just shocked because, like I said, they filmed these movies in Australia, so it kind of shocks me. Like even the movie coming out in October, we still haven't gotten the trailer yet. But the producer Todd Gardner just came out yesterday, and I got tagged in it because everybody on Twitter, they were like, yeah, we're supposed to be getting a Red Band trailer in July, which makes sense because this is a Warner Brothers property and Superman's coming out. So yeah, it makes sense that we're finally getting a trailer in July, but 3-month marketing is not. Ugh.
Yeah. Especially coming off what we just got, you know.
Yeah, and they just announced the Mortal Kombat Legacy arcade collection. Like, they're gonna have to make a really, really strong push for the next months here. But
well, all I can say is I hope the direction of this movie is done better than the direction of the last, because the direction of the last movie, first of all, they had no tournament. That's what the movie is supposed to be the tournament.
And that's what I was talking about, the Bloodsport thing. You had to have a tournament, right?
Yeah. Secondly, I do like that the rumor being that they're killing off Cole in the first act of this new one. That I can totally agree with. He's a throwaway character. We all agree with that. I feel bad for Louis Tan, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
And as far as the other direction is, the first movie, you could have taken all the other characters out and just made it Sub-Zero versus Scorpion. It would have been a better movie. You know, those were the two characters that reigned supreme in that narrative, and they were in the beginning and the end, and that was it. And those were the best scenes, were the beginning and the end.
And the end scene wasn't really necessarily a matchup between them two, because you had the Cole Young character stuck in the middle of it, some type of descendant from the Scorpion character, right? So it's the same director as the first one, Simon McQuaid.
I just hope they learn their lessons, that's all.
Yeah, it would be good. I always liked...
And do away with that Arcana thing. Make it natural. Don't... you have to bring out your powers. You have your powers from the beginning.
Yeah.
What though, they found a really good Shao Kahn though, so we'll see.
Yeah.
Like I said, we'll see. Again, I'm going in with the lowest expectations after I was, riding that parade hard before the first 2021 movie came out, and I learned my lesson from that. So, again, going with low expectations, but I just hope it's good. Just for the simple fact is, I don't want to wait another 30 years for another Mortal Kombat movie. I hope it's good. If it's not, and this is the end of Mortal Kombat movies, so be it. At least continue making the animated films. The animated films are so good. Well, except I didn't like Snowblind, but the animated films are really good overall. So I'd be happy to keep those going. And of course, off topic, I'm excited for the arcade collection. Getting that coming out too. So.
I really like those short films they did on YouTube, those fan ones with Michael J. White was on. I was a big fan of those ones. I thought they were pretty cool.
Yeah, absolutely. But other than that, like, I don't know what other movies I'm excited. We got the Silent Hill movie coming out, but the thing is, like, all the movies that I was excited for already came out. Like Mission Impossible was like my movie that I was excited for. Saw it, loved it. So now it's just like, okay, let's just get through Superman. Let's just get through Fantastic Four. I'm curious about Fantastic Four just because of Doomsday, because I'm excited for Doomsday because of the X-Men coming back. But other than that, after we get through July,
well, Jay,
really,
you do have Nobody 2.
Oh, that's right. Nobody 2 comes out. And did you ever see Nobody?
I did. I wasn't the biggest fan of it because I thought that they were just trying to jump on the kind of like the whole John Wick kind of bandwagon there. It's supposed to be sharing the same universe. Is that within the John Wick universe as well? Is it a different thing?
Not the same universe, but it's the guy who directed is one of the fight choreographers from John Wick.
Right. Okay, I get you.
And also, I really loved the RZA and Christopher Lloyd teaming up at the end. That was fucking awesome. But yeah, I'm excited. Yeah, I'm glad you brought up Nobody 2. Yeah. Oh yeah, no. Oh, isn't the Knives Out, the third Knives Out movie coming out this year too? So
on Netflix,
I'm going through all the movies that are coming out.
Yeah, like all my favorite movies have already came out. So yeah. So Nobody 2.
I know they have that another Conjuring coming out. I don't know.
That's supposed to be the last one, apparently. It's like the Conjuring game, apparently.
They have a Frankenstein movie coming?
Oh, that's right, but it's HBO Max, yeah.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Or no,
Netflix.
No, Hulu. Is it Netflix? Okay. Yeah,
and of course they're rebooting The Running Man, so we'll have to see how that goes. The Running Man.
That trailer for Weapons looked pretty interesting.
Trailer
for Weapons Weapons. It's a new horror movie that's coming out. I don't know if you've seen the trailer for it.
Yeah, I saw that.
Okay.
Yeah, worth checking out. And I don't know why, but I have a curiosity about the Naked Gun with Liam Neeson. And I don't know, the teaser trailer that they dropped for that was pretty fucking funny.
Yeah.
So I'm interested at least to see what that will be like. And the new Paul Thomas Anderson movie with Leo DiCaprio. That's coming out in August.
I forgot they were redoing Anaconda. Forgot about that.
Oh, is that right? Isn't it supposed to be like more of a comedy, R-rated comedy, as opposed to?
And Paul Rudd and Jack Black. Yeah.
Right. And there's a second Spinal Tap movie coming out in September as well, which might be. I don't know. We were talking before. You were talking before, Joe, at the start about the length of time between. Comedies.
Between reunions,
that could be because for me, Spinal Tap 2 is my favorite comedy of all time. You talked about my top 5 movies before, Jason. Like Spinal Tap comes in like number 7 after that. Like it's Goodfellas and then Spinal Tap. So I love DC Spinal Tap is so good. And if anyone's ever seen, if anyone ever had, what was it? It's like I collect I still have DVDs and Blu-rays and stuff. I bought this really great Spinal Tap DVD years ago. It was a double disc, and the second disc had like 2 hours or hour and a half of just all deleted scenes from the movie. You could take those deleted scenes and make a whole movie from it, like from all the stuff. And and I guarantee it'll be funnier than what they're going to do with Spinal Tap 2. Because again, I don't know what Spinal Tap 2 is going to be like. With 41 years after that first one. So
when we're
who knows what it's going to be like?
Far past the peak of like heavy metal.
And way past it.
Yeah, so I don't know how that's going to resonate.
Smashing Machine with The Rock looks pretty interesting.
Oh yeah. Coming out this year.
And I know this doesn't have a release date, Jay, but I know you've been on a Guy Ritchie kick lately, and that they have that In the Gray movie that's coming.
Yeah, dude, anything Guy Ritchie. Guy Ritchie's on my Mount Rushmore. I fucking love Guy Ritchie.
And that's a Jake Gyllenhaal, Henry Cavill movie. So.
Okay, sounds really interesting. And the other one that
go ahead. I was just going to ask you about your favorite director, but go ahead. We'll finish that thought.
But the other thing that's interesting, whether it's going to come out or not this year, is the new Tron, because of the allegations that came out against what's his name?
Jared Leto.
Jared Leto. But he's the lead actor of that Tron movie, and it's a Disney film, so I don't know what
they may have to postpone that movie now.
I think so as well, yeah, because it's October 10th is the release date now.
Leto stuff's ugly. I was listening. I'm subscribed to a channel called Law and.
Which I'm wondering how Tron Ares is going to do, because he's main character in that.
Yeah. I was just listening to Law and some. It's a channel I'm subscribed to. They cover like court cases and stuff like that, and they talked about Jared Leto. It's they went into all the details of the allegations. I'm like, ooh, this is not a good look at all.
It could be like a James Franco situation here, where he's just going to disappear after of the planet, maybe. Yeah.
And a movie that's kind of flown under the radar that's coming out in November. I like these series. I don't know about you, Jay. The Now You See Me, Now You Don't.
I've never.
No, never been a fan.
Magician movies.
I know what they are. I never.
like those. Yeah.
Saw the first one. I haven't seen. It used to be the third or the fourth, Joe.
Third, I think.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I never understood. They went Now You See Me, Now You See Me Too. They didn't do Now You See Me, Now You Don't. That's what they should.
That's what that's what the new one's called.
Oh,
okay. Now You See Me, Now You Don't. Yeah, so they circled back, Jay.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I think Isla Fisher's in this back in the third one as well.
And of course, Predator Badlands. I'm hopeful for it, but I know it's getting, it's already getting bombed on before it even starts. Just because of that design of the.
Yeah, I can't.
The young Predator there.
I didn't that trailer. I'm sorry. I'm gonna.
I wonder if it's gonna do a Sonic the Hedgehog thing and just update the design.
They could. I mean, why not? I mean, they can still do it. They've still got time.
I mean, it's all CGI anyway.
Did you guys watch the anime, the Killer of Killers yet?
I did. I like that. The thing is, I'm not going to tell you how, but it does have a loose tie-in to Prey at the very end.
Okay.
So
yeah. Everybody I know says it's good. Like everybody I've talked to says, yeah, this is way better than Prey, way better than all the other. This is the best Predator film since the first one. Nothing will exceed the first one for me. So, but yeah, I see Badlands. I'm just like, ugh. I don't like the look. I get what they're going for. It's just, ugh.
I'm hopeful, but we'll see.
We'll talk. That may be a spoiler discussion movie. Like,
yeah.
We'll feel. Joe and I want to feel it out when it comes out. But
one thing I may cover, Jay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna speak this into existence now. Is the Alien Earth TV show. I may want to cover the episodes of that.
Okay, yeah.
Looks interesting.
Yeah, we'll see. I wasn't too wild about what was that last Alien movie that came out?
Oh, the Romulus, yeah.
Romulus?
It was okay.
It was a bit I think it was a bit too much of a tribute to other films instead of being its own thing. Which I think can, like, nostalgia is cool. I mean, like, you're talking Top Gun Maverick. I mean, that had a sense of nostalgia, but it's also its own thing as well, Yeah. So
if it's not done in the right timing, it just feels forced.
Yeah, Romulus kind of feels a little like it was cool, but I wasn't really as into it as I thought it would be. It was all right. It was not too bad.
Oh, I got a question for you. Because Joe and I are totally divided. I loved it. Joe hated it. What'd you think of Beetlejuice?
Well, I hate to sound like a bitch here, but I was kind of like stuck in the middle with it. It was okay. The problem I think I had with that movie is that there was just too many things going on with it. Like, it's just like 4 or 5 different storylines. You had the Jenna Ortega stuff and all that stuff as well.
I think could have took Dolores, his ex-wife. They could have taken that out of the movie, and that would have been a good third movie.
Yeah.
That's what I would have done. Like, I loved the movie. Like, I thought the main premise was good enough. Dolores wasn't necessary. I mean, don't be wrong.
I think what lost me is that the first one had this almost rated R humor in it, and this one kind of dulled it down for the kids, and it was like, I really want to see him do these risque jokes he used to do, and he's just kind of stuck not being able to do.
I think when I was watching that movie, Michael Keaton, I love Michael Keaton, but Michael Keaton in his return as Beetlejuice just didn't have that same kind of spirit that he had in the first movie. And of course, age has to do with that because it's been so long between both movies. But there was just this kind of cheeky spirit to that Beetlejuice character in the first one that I didn't feel in the second one. He felt kind of subdued. Yeah.
Him reprising Batman in The Flash had such an impact that this kind of fell short when he should have probably reprised Beetlejuice first and then Batman, because Batman's the more known character for him. So
well, that Flash movie, like, that was supposed to come out like
they're doing a third movie.
Yeah, I'm not saying the movie was bad. I'm just saying it didn't live up to the expectations I went into it with.
I had fun, and
I set the bar too high, Jay.
No, I had fun with it. I loved it. My thing is it was like this was Tim Burton being Tim Burton again. Like this is what I wanted.
That's true. That's true.
That's what I want. I like Tim Burton lost his. It's not his fault, but Tim Burton definitely lost his way the last 10, 15 years. This felt like old school Tim Burton again, like the first 5 movies, you know.
That's what I did like about it. I loved the craft in the movie, and I loved that kind of like Tim Burton, that kind of feel he used to have with his films, where you're talking about lost his way. I think it was like at the time of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory going forwards, where a lot of his kind of like visual palette was so. Beforehand, it was just seemed really. It was like that old school, practical effects kind of stuff that he was just so awesome. And then with Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, it kind of went the way of like what George Lucas did with the Star Wars prequels, was just too much of the VFX stuff, and he fell in love with it too much. And whereas if I watch Batman, Beetlejuice, you know, those like old Edward Scissorhands, like those 3 movies, they still look great with all the physical kind of stuff in there. This kind of like eccentric kind of take towards character and stuff. Whereas when I watch like something like Alice in Wonderland, which I won't watch again, or Charlie and the Chocolate Factory or stuff like that, and there's a bunch of movies of his I haven't watched because it was just got to the point where I was like, I can't watch his version of stuff. What was the one with Ava Green, Peculiar Children, something or other? I forgot what it was called.
The School of Peculiar, Miss Peregrine and the School of Peculiar Children.
See, I can't even say that. Like, that's just too much work right there. Like that kind of stuff.
My favorite actor, so.
I love it, but no, I didn't say anything bad about her. I was just saying about the movie. That's all. Like, I'm like, you know, like
Jay,
best one girl of all
fact,
time,
right?
in my opinion.
Jay, fun fact: the kid that plays Charlie Bucket in the Willy Wonka one lives did live in Louville, right near us, right?
Yeah, he lives up north. What's that farming town called up north by Watertown? Louville, yeah.
Louville.
Louville, New York, which is like about an hour from us up north.
Mm-hmm.
I want to reach out to him. I'd love to get him on the show.
Do it. Just call. Reach out. Don't be shy. Ever.
Yeah.
Reach out.
You
know, have you ever seen that meme from? Have you ever seen that meme from the? There was a meme going around of the first Charlie and the Chocolate, based on the scene in the first Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, or Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, I guess you can call it. It's when so the start of the meme is you see Grandpa Joe kind of like in bed, and like at the top it says like Grandpa Joe's in bed, while everyone else is like working and slaving away to try to get him like to like a whatever he can. As soon as the motherfucker gets a golden ticket, he's out of his bed and he's dancing.
Yeah,
it's like that's all it kind of took.
The
you
guy
know?
dances for chocolate.
Yeah, exactly. It's like all this time you could have been up. You could have been out there pushing some coal around. Come on, Grandpa Joe. What is this shit?
My favorite meme from Grandpa Joe. Okay, you know the meme with the Undertaker standing behind what's
AJ Styles?
Yeah. So there's a one where it's Grandpa Joe, and then standing behind him is the Undertaker, and it says Grandpa Joe dancing around the factory, and then it shows, and then the Undertaker says fraud insurance.
Exactly.
And I still do a living meme every once in a while when I'm really burnt out and I get this burst of energy. I'll stand there and I'll do the quote. I'll go, "Look at me, up and about."
It's like, motherfucker, you knew you could do that.
I haven't done this in 50 years.
Yeah, right. That guy's been doing a GQ. When everyone's sleeping, he's up on the roof doing his fucking thing. Liar. What a liar. Biggest scam artist in cinema history, I'll tell you what.
Exactly. Yeah.
I know. It's funny because we all look at that differently now as adults than we did kids.
Yeah. When you're young, it's like, oh, the magic of chocolate or what have you. Or it's like when you're older, it's like, you son of a bitch.
Oh yeah.
All right. Well, listen, it's getting pretty late here in the East Coast. So before we go, Matt, the one question I wanted to ask you is what are some of your favorite? Do you have like a Mount Rushmore or like some of your favorite like movie directors that like whatever that director is, you go see his movies no matter what? Like what are like your favorite directors?
Number one, Scorsese.
Mm.
With
It's New York City. Let's go.
Yes.
Let's go.
Scorsese, number one. Love Scorsese. There's going to be some New York City in here, actually. Number two, we mentioned him before, Spielberg. I think he's just love Spielberg. So 3, 4, 5. Look, not really in any type of order, but I'm just going to throw out a few names here. Sidney Lumet, who's I think he's like a really kind of underrated. Like look at his career. Stuff he's done, Dog Day Afternoon and Serpico. Serpico is a movie that changed my life. That was the movie they want me to write about movies. So I love Sidney Lumet. John Carpenter, love John Carpenter. William Friedkin, talked about before. Yep. Fantastic, love William Friedkin. And also, I know he's not everyone's particular taste, but Terrence Malick. I'm a big fan of Terrence Malick movies. Okay. I love The Tree of Life. I love Badlands. And I can totally get when you watch a Terrence Malick film. Sometimes it's just like with the whole kind of like poetic kind of thing he does, and the whispering in the background, and look at the trees, and all these kind of bullshit, and it gets a little kind of like pretentious and such. But I just something about his films like it's really kind of moved me. I don't know what it is. It's just his approach to things is really cool. So yeah, I think those 6, 7 ones up there for sure. If tomorrow. Terrence Malick put out a film, I'll go watch it straight away, even if it's got bad reviews. Or if tomorrow, if I found out there was a William Friedkin film that was lost to the ages and was unearthed somewhere, I'll buy it straight away. It's just those are the filmmakers that really did it for me.
Because fans are divided. What do you think of the third Exorcist movie with George C. Scott and Brad Dourif?
That's a I love that film. Underrated.
Thank you.
I love that movie.
Dude, I don't know why everybody hates it so much. I fucking love it.
I love it. To me, it's interesting because it's directed by William Peter Blatty, who wrote the novels as well.
Yeah.
And I got both versions. I got the uncut version and the original version. I love both versions.
I didn't know there was 2 versions. Okay.
So there was I think it was Shout. Was that Shout Studios? I think.
Shout Factory.
I forgot who it was. Shout Factory, thank you.
Yeah.
They released a Blu-ray a couple of years ago, and they had the version with the deleted scenes from the movie, including kind of like makeup tests from the film of the original script, because that movie was kind of notorious with that.
The thing where that old lady crawling on the ceiling still to this day creeps me the fuck out.
And originally, I've read the actually got the book as well, so really cool. Legion is what it's based on. Yeah. Very different to the movie.
The movie.
It is
the other movie called Legion. Yeah.
Yeah. This movie was just. I actually love Exorcist 3, and I think William Peter Blatty did a fantastic job with that movie. And he directed another film called The Ninth Configuration, which is kind of like. So there's kind of like how John Carpenter has kind of like the Doomsday trilogy, where it's kind of like Prince of Darkness, In the Mouth of Madness, and a thing. So there's kind of like an unofficial Exorcist trilogy, where it's The Exorcist, The Ninth Configuration, and Exorcist 3. It's kind of like the unofficial Exorcist trilogy, because The Ninth Configuration has got a character in it that is in the first Exorcist movie. And the scene in the first Exorcist film where Linda Blair crashes her mum's house party and she urinates herself. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you guys remember that scene.
Yeah, I do.
And she says to a guest, she says to a guest at a party, she says, "You're gonna die up there." The person she was talking to was an astronaut character who's supposed to go up in space. And in the second film, that astronaut character is one of the main characters. He goes insane. He can't go on a spaceship because of the words that the Linda Blair character says in the first movie. So he goes insane. So it's kind of like there's a thread there in between all 3 of those movies, and they're all written by William Peter Blatty. So if you guys haven't seen Exorcist 3, watch it, because it's probably like one of the best underrated horror movies of all time. Oh. And then watch Ninth Configuration. Watch Ninth Configuration as well. Yeah,
I have a favorite director that's kind of an upset director. Like, everybody boos me for it because they kind of hate him, but I grew up with him. I love his movies and everything. It's Paul Anderson. I mean, I loved Event Horizon. I'm a Resident Evil super fan. I enjoyed the Paul Anderson films. Everybody else hates them for whatever reason.
I love him.
Well, he did. Well, we're going back to the first Mortal Kombat.
Exactly. So I mean, he's pretty much king of video game adaptations at this point.
Yeah.
Right.
So
Did he do? He didn't do Silent Hill. Did he? The first one. Did he do that as well? Was that
No, thank you.
No. Okay.
No, but Alien versus Predator, which was not good, but not because of Paul Anderson. It was bad. I thought that was bad writing. I thought it was good like he did a great job directing it. It's just I didn't like I just hated the fact that the Predator teamed up with the Human. I hated that. But yeah,
that doesn't make any sense. No.
Yeah, no, but I love Paul Anderson's movies too. Like I said, I think I'm with Joe. Event Horizon and Mortal Kombat are his, and Resident Evil. That's like his best three right there, in my opinion. I feel like now he's kind of lost his magic. He needs to like reach for that magic again. So I have faith that he can.
I think it'd be really cool to see what he can do with kind of like an original property, like that isn't based on something else.
Yeah.
And, maybe do something more indie, like that. Like Event Horizon wasn't based in any video game or anything, was it? That was like
I think it was I think it was like an early comic strip or something. I can't really remember, but
so something
it was very badly received when it first came out, and it became a cult classic over time. So
yeah, well, usually the great films are like that, right? A lot of times, even when Apocalypse Now came out and a bunch of other films came out, there was someone always a lot of critics at the time shitting on it.
So that movie Apocalypse Now or something.
Yeah, there is, and I think there's another one. He's working on another one now, because in a few years it's like the 40th anniversary. Oh, I forgot what it came out in 1979, so whatever that's going to be. So that's what he's doing now. I think he's just going back to some of his older films and.
Okay, I see. It was loosely based on the science fiction film Solaris.
Oh, okay.
Right.
That's what Event Horizon.
Yeah, there was some kind of like base that he picked it up from. Now, another question before we go. My all-time favorite actor is Denzel Washington. There's no other actor, dead or alive, better than Denzel Washington. He's my all-time favorite actor. So, who's your all-time favorite actor?
Al Pacino.
All right. Okay.
Al Pacino, to me, I don't know if you can see behind me, I've got Carlito's Way up there, I've got Heat over there, I've got Godfather over there. Al Pacino, to me, to undercut the point you were making, your statement, is the greatest living actor, dead or alive, in my opinion. And I absolutely love Al Pacino. I wish that, going back a little bit with the Tom Cruise thing and the Stallone thing, I wish he can do more projects with more revered filmmakers, because he has he's Al Pacino. He should be able to work with anyone. But he's a dad again now, supposedly with he's 84 and so got a kid again, so he has to cash in those checks. But I love Al Pacino. He's to me number one. And other guys that I love De Niro, Nicholson, Denzel, Marlon Brando, and someone who never gets brought up in these conversations as should is Robert Duvall. I think he's one of the great actors of our time as well. Love Robert Duvall.
I think there's two categories when you're trying to figure out who your favorite actor is. There's your favorite actor based on their acting ability and their range, and then there's your favorite actor based on just them as a person. And I think it's hard for me to pick a favorite actor on acting ability because there's so many greats out there. But my favorite actor, just based on his personality, is Robert Downey Jr.
Right. he's one of those guys that has a really kind of would seem like a cool hang kind of guy.
Exactly,
right? And but I think Denzel's like that for me though. If we're going to talk about personality as well, he seems like he. I love listening to his interviews, and I remember he was.
He's a preacher now too. He just became a.
He
preacher.
is, but even the way that. Even before that, like the way he kind of speaks, he evokes a lot of that kind of stuff as well. And I was just thinking about an interview he did like 10 years ago when Fences came out, the movie Fences.
Yes, I love.
And someone asked him, it's like a white person do this movie. He said, it's not about race, it's about culture. And the lady says, well, explain that to me. He goes, okay, Martin Scorsese could have directed Schindler's List. And Steven Spielberg could have directed Goodfellas, and they would be just as fine, but there's cultural differences between them. And I think that kind of really succinct kind of way he kind of explained that without going into the weeds of kind of like identity politics and stuff like that was really smart on his behalf. Because I think, and again, and also, the whole Will Smith incident, supposedly he was kind of like a bit of a mediator of that as well. Like he was talking to Will Smith afterwards and trying to tell him, hey man, you gotta, settle down a bit here and get your shit together, but doing it the way that Denzel Washington does. But yeah, I love Denzel. Christopher Walken's another great actor. I think he comes across as a gimmick sometimes, but he's a fantastic actor as well. Ellen Burstyn. Yeah, there's many of them, but for me, Pacino. It's like right up there for me. Yeah.
And applying that same question, actress.
Well, Ellen Burstyn. I like Meryl Streep, but I think lately Meryl Streep as kind of like a personality has put me off more than anything else.
Yeah.
But she's a great actress, though. One actress that people don't talk about enough, I think it's been like the goat of actresses, is Jessica Lange. I think she's absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
Love Jessica Lange as well. Jennifer Connelly, big fan of her as well. I'm just trying to think who else is there. Can't think of.
It's hard for me to get off the eye candy, but if I try to just go based on acting ability alone, Helen Mirren comes to mind.
Helen Mirren,
yeah.
Absolutely as well. Same. But yeah, those are the ones. I tend to go back to more the actors in the 70s and 80s than I do kind of like modern day kind of people. I don't know. Those are just the movies that I like watching more than anything else, But yeah, I think for me, Jessica Lange, Ellen Burstyn, Meryl Streep, those are the ones that really kind of like that speak to me as a kind of like actors. Sure. Actresses, I should say.
I'm a huge fan of the 1976 King Kong movie, so.
Yes, with Jeff Bridges. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, and that was my introduction.
Jessica Lange's so freaking hot in that movie.
Yeah, it was. I think that was her first movie too.
Yeah, and supposedly, I heard Meryl Streep say in an interview that she was interviewed for that movie, and it was Dino De Laurentiis who was the producer of that film, and he's like, he didn't want to cast Meryl Streep because she wasn't good looking enough, so they got Jessica Lange instead in the movie, and he made the right decision. So thank you, Dino.
All right. Well, on that note, one more question. This is the question I ask everybody. So, Matt, movies reviews. Do you like to come back on NerdCage Live sometime? Whether if we do another show, we talk more movies, or we do a spoiler discussion, whatever. We'd like to come back sometime.
Absolutely. I want to jump back in the cage again. Let's do it.
Fuck yeah. Well, all right. Well, go ahead. Once again, plug your show. Plug anything you want, any upcoming project, and where everybody can find you.
www.mattsmoviereviews.net is the hub for all things Matt's Movie Reviews. You also check out Matt's Movie Reviews on YouTube, trying to get up to 3,000, or not far off from 3,000 subscribers there. So anyone who could subscribe or watch our videos there be most appreciated. And also you can check me out at Facebook at Matt's Movie Rev. Anyone who wants to come by, listen to the podcast, watch the videos, read the reviews, be much appreciated.
And finally, Joe, before we go, we just want to make that major announcement that, go ahead, tell everybody what's going on next week, Joe.
Yes, next Thursday, Cynthia Rothrock, right here on NerdCage Live.
The queen of martial arts cinema, the greatest martial artist actress of all time, is going to be right here on NerdCage Live, and it will be live. Hopefully we don't lose the connection, but we'll be live. Have your questions ready. Should be a damn good time. And then, Joe, we'll see what goes on this weekend with Doom.
Yes, Doom, The Dark Ages continues.
Yes, that's twitch.tv/NerdCage Live. If you're watching us on Twitch, we'll be back playing Doom. And next week, God of War.
Next week, tentatively, maybe a late stream, because I'm 3 to 11 next week working. But more God of War 3 remastered.
Yes, and of course, get yourself a NerdCage Live t-shirt. Again, any size, any color. We have various designs. The link to our TeePublic's in the description of this video and every live stream across the vast land of social media. Joe, go ahead, social media plug.
Yes, if you want to get us on Twitter or Instagram, both handles are at @nerd_cage. Our link to our Discord is in the description. Become a member there as well. And our Facebook discussion group, that is NerdCage Nation. We love everything you guys put up there. No spoilers, no politics, and for God's sakes, keep it civil.
Yeah, so once again, we just want to thank our guest, Matt from Matt's Movies Reviews. Thank you so much for coming on. And again, please check out, I've been on his channel. We actually did a 30th anniversary look back of Bad Boys. The original Bad Boys, well, I should say the original, but Bad Boys with Will Smith and Martin Lawrence. So check out that video where we got to just gush about that movie, talk about behind the scenes and everything at Michael Bay and everything else. And so check that video out over on his channel. Hopefully I'm able to come back for another discussion. And be sure to subscribe to Matt's Movie Reviews right here on YouTube. Again, not only that, Matt is an awesome content maker. He's an awesome interviewer. He's got loads of stuff, various movie videos and podcasts. But he's an awesome friend as well, and he's also a fellow Knicks fan. So it's always good to rock with a Knicks fan, home or abroad. It's always good to have Knicks fans all over the world. So be sure to subscribe to Matt's movie review. Fantastic stuff over there. Anyway, we pretty please ask you to like, comment, subscribe, ring that bell, and spread this shit like syphilis. So the USA, from yours truly, the land of the orange to Syracuse, New York, to all of our friends, fans around the world at NerdCage Live and Matt's Movie Reviews. As always, enjoy life, stay safe, eat your vegetables, do your push-ups, go to the gym, all that good stuff. Good night, God bless, and have the best day of your life, and be here next week for Cynthia Rothrock. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Let's fight.
NerdCage Live is excited to welcome the legendary Cynthia Rothrock for a live interview Thursday, June 19th, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Be there.
NerdCage Live and gaming are a perfect match.
Shoot the J, Joe. Okay. Shoot it!
All right. Over on NerdCage Live on Twitch, Jay and Joe go live.
Call me Bazooka Joe. It's all about you.
Kaboom! Playing both old school and new school games every Tuesday night. Ooh, what a sight!
Jay, stop looking at her face and run.
But she's so beautiful.
So be sure to follow NerdCage Live on Twitch.
Run for your life, Joe. Run for your life, Joe.
Running.
Run faster. Oh no, Joe. The galaxy's doomed because of you.
To scratch your gaming itch.
Oh, nice kick, Joe.
Thank you.
Yo, that's diabolical. Wait. Yo!
That's twitch.tv/NerdCage Live.
Ooh, trying to get out of the nerd cage, are ya? Well, before you go, hit that subscribe button. And if you're really intrigued, ring that bell. Thank you for dropping by. Until next time, tell everyone you know about NerdCage Live!